How's it going, everybody? Viscount Gregor Hawke here, and welcome to my 100 shots a day, 100 days Pell challenge. This is my day 56, and it has finally come that day, my friends. We are going to start training wraps, but before that, I need to do a few snaps because that's what I do. But I am going to start training wraps on the daily. Very good possibility that I will also be training my left hand too. I did a little bit of it yesterday, and it is like 110% clown shoots right now. It feels very awkward. The last time I trained my left, it was very strong, and now it is so much not very strong. Yeah, it's almost embarrassing, especially when you factor in I have a white belt. So what does that mean? So this is day 56, and I trained my left on day 1. And then 50 some odd practices later, I finally did it again yesterday. So that's no bueno, everybody. You really do need to train for the situations where you do get armed and you do lose your primary arm. So you have to train your secondary. Extremely important, because you don't want it to come down to a tournament. You're a badass with your primary arm. You get armed when it's like the most important time of that tournament, and you end up getting gooned and you lose. And a lot of it has to do because you didn't train your secondary. So I'm going to be doing that every day from now on. Just be prepared for the ugliness for a while, because that's the way it's going to be. Right now, my left is very rudimentary at best. Very rudimentary. If I get into a single sword, I'm against somebody that's also single sword, but they're primary, there's a possibility that I might actually lose that fight. So I need to go ahead and get that trained up. And Zygmunt asked for me to do a bread and butter shots video. I went ahead and just posted that. And he actually asked me how much my shield weighs, and I forgot to comment on that. I just weighed it today, and it's about 11.5 to 12 pounds. I think my scale might not be very accurate, but it honestly doesn't feel very heavy until I hold it in position like for a while, and then my arm starts to croak on me. So let me go ahead and do some of my leg plans, because I'm still on leg plan for another few weeks. And although I didn't use any pokes in my bread and butter video, it's the exact same principle. There's my bread, there's my butter. And they react to that stab, creates the opening on their lower body because they raise their defense. Butter comes in, takes the leg. Same thing for this one. Bread, because I'm moving to this side, generally causes people to plant and slightly rotate. And then butter when they react. When I see that reaction, that's what I do. I'm kind of all just watching them. As soon as they react, butter. But yeah, a lot of what you see me training, all my 2 shots, they're all my bread and butters, like big time. And this one where I catch a snap in house, leg, and just a quarter step to the right, which opens up for that butter pill. And now I'm saying bread and butter too much. Okay, so some of the wraps I'm going to be training, and a lot of them, I will not be any closer than this line right here. I'm either going to be here to set up the wrap and slide across to here to actually land the wrap. And I might actually step across this way, but I will not be any closer to the pail than this distance from here to here. It's extremely important. A lot of people think you have to be like right on people to throw the wrap. In most cases, you're going to have a power issue with like that. and you could possibly get smothered and not be able to get a really good clean shot. But if you want to land a wrap effectively, start off on this side. Just seriously, start off on this side. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, it can be this, it can be that, it can be that. But the biggest thing what you're trying to do is you're trying to get them to bite this angle, you're coming across like this. And the biggest thing you are looking for when you're doing that, you're just watching your honorable opponent. If they plant and they rotate, they start to rotate their body to come and face you so they can still face you, that's when you step across and you throw those wraps as an exit. They're exceptionally brutal when you do it that way. The other thing too, and I need to get back into training this, if you see these little markers right here, these signify armpit. Heart is right around in here. So it's right around, it's like a line straight across your armpit. So if your sword blow comes up high, always cut for the heart, which means cutting down. If you're shooting the shot above the heart, always cut down, always. If you're firing your wrap below the heart, always cut up towards the heart, always. Now, the reason why I do this one right here, cutting up towards the heart, if you notice shields, most people have them right about here. If they're center bossing, they're about like this. The very big thing is though, this wrap, when they plant and they rotate to meet this angle right here, this one actually comes up and underneath their shield. So when you're stepping across, so you get here and you fire it really low. It starts out really low, about like this, really low, and it comes right up underneath of that shield corner, right at the bottom. Pretty much no matter what that you're using. So I fire it really low and I cut up towards the heart, always towards the heart. Exceptionally important when you're firing head wraps. That's very easy to kind of duck, as well as to block with this, because you're tracking it in and your sword is basically straight up and down. Their sword blow is actually coming in horizontally, so very easy to pick up and block, very easy to duck. People duck them. So your best bet is to always cut down towards the heart, always. Extremely hard to duck. You try to duck that, you're catching it in the back of your neck. Like you're catching it on your shoulder, the back of your shoulder. This is why you always cut down towards the heart. It really stops you from skipping your blows. Like they might do a slight duck, that sword just might skip right off the top of their helmet. But if you drive it down like this, you cannot duck that. You have to physically block it with your sword. I mean, you really do. And the thing is since it's not coming in a horizontal plane, which is very easy to block, because your stick, it's basically a shield on your back. When someone fires a wrap, you just kind of track it in. As soon as you feel contact, you can answer. Okay, so let me stop blabbing and let me start doing it. And it kind of feels a little bit awkward, and it's also on a pail, slightly hard to land where you're cutting downwards towards the heart with speed. So just kind of do it slow. And if you can do it slow, you can certainly do it fast. And I did that bad because I'm thinking too much. And I also did that bad. My foot foot landed here. I crossed, I got a slightly bit too close, probably a few inches. That's not super horrible, but wraps are very, very good when you land them not so close to your opponent. That's the very big thing. So let me practice this, because I like to start out in the final location that I'm going to want to do this. Oh God, it's horrible. Nice and slow. That's better. And this is the thing, everybody, I don't know if you can see. Let me get over here just to do it. So, sword comes in horizontal, very easy to block. Sword comes in cutting downwards to the heart. It might look like it's going to be flat, but it's not, because of the angle the sword's traveling. It's traveling in like this. So it might look like it's flat, but it's not, because the sword's coming in at this angle. It's chopping downwards. All right, let me get back in my position again. And the very cool thing is, I can't do it here, I will hit my leg. The other reason why you want it to, your sword blows to kind of chop downward like that towards the heart, it makes it harder to block because the sword isn't traveling in this plane. This plane is always easy to block, horizontal. When you come in and change the angle cutting downwards, much harder to block, much harder. And I feel like I'm still almost being too close, honestly. So maybe not worry about these marks as much, because wrap position is a little bit different. I really need to, this one's fine for my opening shot. That's going to be fine. That's actually pretty good. I like that. Striking with from here down, especially right there. I like that. That means that range is good. Getting too close again. I can't help it. And that was not cutting down the heart. All right, and another, actually, yeah, I did talk about that. I'm looking at myself in the mirror. That actually looks good. Not so much the headshot diving down though. Okay, so I have to also make sure that when I'm landing that wrap, back of this foot isn't up. If I do that, I'm not going to have as much power with wrap. It's because I'm trying to step across too far. Okay. That's better. So maybe first shot, step here, then I can step past, which gives me a slightly better angle. Yeah, I like that. Although the thing is if I appear too linear coming in, then the likelihood of them planting and rotating to that side is very small. They might plant, they probably won't rotate. And I just can't seem to, okay. Okay. Now, I know I can get power because I do a very similar thing when I'm on this side throwing the snap. I lean. The thing is I have to time this just right. I'm collecting all the energy from this foot. It comes down, it comes up through my body, my arm, and the second I land is when this foot is at its highest, and I'm gaining power from the lead. The thing is if I mistime that, my power is right down the shitter. Okay, so maybe I will, instead of stepping here, maybe I'll step here, but I'll kind of try to sell this angle to get them to plant and to get them to rotate. So let's practice that. Oh shit. That was bad. I even saw that in the mirror too. Okay, it's been a little bit of wraps. Let me do my other bread and butters that I generally do. I'm gonna do that. Just because. Okay. So let me get this part out of the way. Apologize for the massive amount of embarrassment I'm about to cause myself. Alright, let's do a little bit of lefty today, a little bit of lefty training. Oh. Yeah, it feels weird. Trying to do the same thing I usually do, and my sword's actually ground right-handed, so it also feels a little bit different. I need to make me a left-handed ground sword then. You have to hold it slightly differently. like I'm afraid I'm gonna hit flat a lot. Oops, running up towards the heart. That fell flat. All right, let me do, I almost can't hold it like that, Demi. I need to make me a left-hand sword. All right. I'm all arms. Maybe I will put this on. With my handle not being ground for this hand, it's very personalized to my right. My hand slides up and down slightly. The thumb notch isn't there, and I just wrapped my hand on the inside of my basket. So, not quite sure where I was. All right. I'm telling you, people, I almost need to take my white belt off. This is like ultimately embarrassing. And this is exactly what happens when you are a right hand dominant and you do not train your right hand or your left hand at all. Kind of doing like clown shoes 6-part drill, because that's what it is. Yeah, and my left arm's burning too. Yeah, I foresee this taking me, oh wow, probably another 50 days, 60 days to maybe get close to where I was before with my left. Maybe. Yeah, it's ugly, guys. So sorry about that embarrassment. But I'm doing this for me, so don't really care. Yeah. I'm gonna be looking at this footage and going, man, oh man, why did I not train this 50 some days ago? I mean, my left before was good. Not as good as my right, but it was good. Like it did what I wanted without me having to think so much about it. Now, ooh, bleh. That's like super, super embarrassing, everybody. Especially with how long I've been fighting. And that just goes to show right now, if I face somebody and I lose my arm, if they decide to keep their shield or their second weapon, I'm dead. Like, I'm dead. Trained up the way it used to be, I actually had a fighting chance. And if they were so inclined to yield their shield or their sword, and I faced them left-handed second sword, and they still have their primary, I'd still have a very good chance of winning the fight. Not so much now. But that's what happens. You don't train it. Just like if you decided to sit on your butt for 3 years and you never once got up, it would be pretty interesting learning how to walk. That's basically what I'm going through. My left hand needs to learn how to walk again. Because right now all it does is crawl. I love that one. I get so many legs with that. Because it literally comes up underneath and then the inside of the shield when it connects. Most people don't hold it like their shield directly to their chest. They have that slide, it's about this angle. So it's easy to sweep underneath of if you get good at the wraps. It's really hard for me. I think I'm paranoid about my lamp. Yeah, because effectively I better be here. Yeah, gonna get that. Still feel like I'm too close. That's better. All right, let me do a couple more snaps, I think I'll call it. With the off body. I throw one blow and you throw two. All right, yeah. I think I pushed it a little bit too much. Hurt my back a few days ago. Feels good yesterday. It's feeling good today, but it's all that rotating. So I might just call it now before I end up having to wear my cardio all day. All right, thank you for joining me today. I'll catch you next episode. Peace.